so much, everybody. I'm so honored to be with you today. And as you all can hear, there's a lot of us who are great leaders out there from all over the world who are chiming in, literally, to get an opportunity to speak with someone who is very special in my life and has given a great opportunity not only to all of us who are on this line, but also to Focus Up Ministries as well. So we are just really pleased to have Mr. Novak with us. And Roman, thank you so much for joining us. Appreciate you being here. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, thank you, Nancy. Thank you for having me.
Mr. Novak, Roman Novak is the founder of the Profitable Sunrise program that we are all umbrellaed under, our charity is umbrella under. But I would love to have you share the story that you shared with me one day when I got a chance to first interview you about how you all started in the world of finance and how you got to this point. If you would do that, that would be wonderful, Roman.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, my name is Roman Novak. I'm a co-founder, as Nancy said, and co-owner of Profitable Sunrise. Well, we started with Profitable Sunrise. My background is actually in finance. I graduated with a master's degree in business, and I was happily involved with for quite some time in Czech Republic with recovering, bringing gospel back and working on recovering certain churches. I did manage to work in 2000 in the mortgage industry until 2003. This is when I've been very successful doing that, but then as soon as subprime loans came into the programs, I kind of felt like it's going in the wrong direction and tried to move on doing different things. And I got on board with one of the cash lending businesses, B Corporation, and being in charge. And I was account manager for some time, and then a CFO of this organization. And my particular responsibilities were to dealing with the short-term loans for businesses. Well, we worked for some time and tried to implement a better model. And about 2008, this is where I felt like there's a tremendous opportunity to take a direction into providing a certain niche to certain banks, where we provide underwriting very quick and very efficiently to different businesses who require cash in their books, in a very timely manner, so to speak. They need fast cash right away, and so we can assist them. The company I worked with chose to cater more to the private sector because it has been quite an operation, and they just didn't want to change the business model. Then I took upon myself and my younger brother. We worked with a few private investors, a few evangelical missions out of the Philippines, and we decided to separate ourselves with our new entity, and this is how Profitable Sunrise came to be. So a few things I'll tell about Profitable Sunrise. We try to comply with all the U.S. regulations, and my younger brother, he's an attorney at law. He specializes in international business law. He got advice that in order for us to eliminate most of the risk dealing with the different agencies such as CSE and FDIC, or something that would seek rewards based to eliminate those problems, that we would need to move offshore. And so we did. So Profitable Sunrise is an offshore company, so every dealing that we do with the U.S. investors or any investor around the world is confidential. Doesn't matter. We do not report any profits or any purchases to any agencies unless we're required to. And the limits are usually typical international money laundering laws. Well, anyways, we did the program. The program was not. It was pretty much the same what we're offering right now, but on a much lower rate. But in 2008, the economy kind of went down, and we were receiving an overwhelming amount of applications. And we worked with the private bankers prior to that. That also complicated things greatly for us. We were limited who we can deal with, which means that you would have to be a certified investor, pre-qualified investor with a track record of investing and a track record of losing funds, things like that. So that limited our access to funds, and so we weren't able to eliminate most of the business that was coming our way. So moving offshore gave us this tremendous opportunity and ability that we get to choose ourselves who we can do business with, and we can set our own limits. That's why there's you don't have to have any track record in prior investment, or if you haven't done that prior to that, we explain everything. This is what the property centralized offering, what type of investment opportunity it is, what the risks are, and what the tremendous opportunities it might present itself. And as I said, after we moved offshore, we took a group of investors, and mainly they were some charities, a few companies that have been heavily involved in, due to my background dealing with those type of charities and organizations. We find out that it's been such blessings for all of us that these opportunities presented itself, and we've been very blessed along the way with the people we're meeting, with the whole type of structure that we have, and believe me, there was a few moments that we thought that it just not going to work, and we definitely feel there was some help from above helping us to make it all work and make it all happen. And well, this is what we currently have, and I'm pretty sure you have a lot of questions. I'll try to answer all of them as much as possible. So, Nanci, I give you the floor.
Okay, well, thank you so much for sharing that. So at this time, Roman, how much are you managing right now as a company? And are you actually listed, what's the difference between first Interreef Limited and Profitable Sunrise? What's the difference between those two?
Well, we do use several subsidiary companies. Profitable Sunrise is mainly a DBA for our business. Interreef, this is where we Interreef is where we incorporate and we deal with all the legal documents. For instance, if you invest $100,000 and above, we do issue a certificate of deposit that comes with the Interreef's name, and also we have certificate of good standing as a corporation out of the Lawyer certified. So if you will see any paperwork from us, most likely it will be issued to Interreef Limited. And Profitable Sunrise, pretty much a DBA. It sounds better as a profitablesunrise.com rather than Interreef.com. So it's and I think we were discussing, and we've dealt with some people who had problems, and in 2008 we had this Angelic Commission. They came to us and were planning to build I think some sort of school in Philippines, and unfortunately the bank they had all their funds at, and it was not too much, $160,000. But anyways, that bank went bankrupt, and they got only $100,000 back, and we came to us and said, is there anything we can do, and just we signed all the paperwork, and we're going to be legally obliged to fulfill the contract. And well, we kind of tried to help them out, and we did, and I think during that time, something like that, it was pretty profitable Sunrise on their horizon. And so I think this is how it all got to be, and we got this domain name and registered it, and kind of went with it. Had a good sound too, I think.
I think so. I think it's a great name. Well, we kind of here talk about Profitable Sunrise, kind of like the charitable arm to your hard money lending company, Interreef. Would that be a good way to describe it?
Yes, I think so. Well, there's, of course, it's hard to explain, the exact business model structure in a short time.
Right.
But in a nutshell, yes, this is Profitable Sunrise. It gives us certain opportunities. There's certain elements and certain requirements where we need to have a certain amount of investors in order for us to operate on the scale that we do. We need to comply with all the local regulations, with all the international regulations on that behalf. So, we operate currently, as you know before, 300 million plus. I think we close to 400 million operational budget at this point. And one of the questions was, what would be the cap? Absolutely. There is a capital program. You have to understand that. Profitable Sunrise, what we offer is limited opportunity, which means that we think that we'll be able to operate on the same scale, and we'll be inviting new clients for the next 2 to 5 years. It's really depends on demand, supply and demand of all the applications. So our cap would feel like would be $1.5 billion to $2 billion. And it all depends on various factors. One of those, of course, is demand. And we've been heavily exploring new markets such as Chinese market and China and a few international markets, Asian especially. That might change numbers. But we feel comfortable to the programs that we offer. So let's say if we got you on board with 170 days with us, and we would that was a lock rate that we're offering, and we would be honored to the what's going to happen next. Most likely, we're going to still be in business offering the same programs, but that would be limited to only previous investors or new programs. We might just introduce new programs, and we won't be involved.
Sure. Okay. And how many people right now? I know that our group has grown quickly. We just hit the $2 million mark. I think it was yesterday, and so we were all celebrating. But we've grown from it just being me all by myself to over 4,000 people. How have you accommodated handling that? I know the traffic has been fierce coming into customer service. Have you increased your staff, and how many people do you have on staff?
Yes, well, currently we employ about 120 plus minus. We do get interns, and we're a high-paced business, so we do have to fire a lot and hire a lot. So
yeah.
We have our HR department working on that constantly, and we actually in the process of getting new people on board. You're absolutely right. We've been very overwhelmed with the success. We feel like that about 30,000 people, this is where we at to handle we will be capable of. Right now, we already passed 13,000, so we are about half what we can handle. And also, we do have a state-of-the-art software, and I have to give credit to my IT guys. We do implement new changes to the website, as you can tell, and we're still working to improve the system to be more efficient. I understand there were some issues with the wires and some delays on that regard, and we're working to improve that as well. The only problem is that we're trying to look into the wires application semi-manually, so to speak, because we're trying to build a relationship with the banks. Some banks have different, money coming their way, so sometimes funds get put on hold, things like that. So in order for us to make sure that everything runs smooth, that that if you send money and they're not going to be put on hold anywhere, we still use, so to speak, a manual labor. We back check with the banks, waiting for their answers to come.
Sure.
That's a part of the process, and we're working to kind of speed it all up. We're currently trying to implement an e-check option, which means that we're trying to make it possible that you can just post an e-check. So the money will go straight from your checking account. You won't have to wire anything, and it will be honored the same way. It will be semi-instantly getting on our books. It will be put on your account right away. That is still under lots of negotiation and lots of scrutiny. I mean, we're going back and forth with different banks to get the best service possible. Time is an essence, and with the e-check, there's sort of delays, and we're going to be trying to bypass.
Yeah, I like the idea of an e-check, but I know most of us don't like delays, so there is a balance there. On the bank wires, is there a chance that we could have a longer period of time? We're finding that by the time we're getting the paperwork on the bank wire, it's already 1 day old, and therefore it only leaves us 48 hours. So if it's on a Friday and it sits there over the weekend, by the time the bank opens on Monday, the transaction page is expired. So we actually need more time than 72 hours to get it to the bank and get it, get it ourselves. It's taking about 48 hours for us to get the document now, and so we need more time. Is that possible?
We're working on that. Currently, this is how a system set up, and it would just help us to eliminate. I mean, there's obviously sometimes situations where it's just impossible to make it happen, but because the system grows really fast, we have quite a few people who make requests, and then they do it after a week or so. So that really puts a great toll on the system, and especially when we start growing, we trying to find a middle ground and probably increase the time limit. I don't have a solid answer for you right now, but we're working on that, and two changes should come in place in the near future.
Okay. Well, we appreciate that because that would be so helpful to us. Now, in my conversation with you, at one time, we were trying to classify how the project fell in how we rate it. And there are some people who rate Profitable Sunrise as being like a hype just because it is high yield. But is it true, Roman, you have never been involved with any other MLMs, network marketing companies, or like those Gator and Ice Money companies out there that do that? You've never been involved with those kind of programs, correct?
Oh, absolutely not. Actually, it's all came new to us Well, we did move out of the jurisdiction, and we do, so to speak, inherit it similar to HYIP structure in the nature. One of the reasons why it happened that way, because we need to have some accreditation as some type of financial institution. And so the fastest and easiest way was, just we need to do a $5 million deposit, DNA sample, verify identities, and so with that kind of came, so to speak, of freedom from all this, from Security Exchange Commission, freedom to move on. But with that also we inherited all the problems that came with that, and unfortunately, one of those problems that we have to, so to speak, be in that arena. And yes, there's been, and when we got to that status and we went out there and we started receiving all this information, and that was all so new to us. It's one of the reasons why you can sound that, I'm trying to show people who we really are, how different we are from many companies. That we have Christian values, and from the start that was pretty much the idea to get the right people on board. It's not always about the money, but I feel like, if you put God in front, people second, and then yourself, then that's a great formula for success. And we just want to show people who we really are, and despite the fact that having Christian values is not a popular thing in our day in the media, we really thought that would, resonate with some, and that would give us at least some, some that would distinguish us from many other companies out there. And I've dealt with few clients who, they said that they experienced some fraud, and we started investigating that more, and we find out that because the structure is so good, the business model, that some people pretty much just take advantage of that and commit a complete fraud. Others get success really fast, and due to mismanagement, businesses just fail. And I feel like that our strength is that, we're trying to establish great customer service. I'm personally trying to be involved as much as possible, and I know that in many other cases that people did online investment, there wasn't anyone to talk to on the other side. And that's why, of course I cannot answer all the phone calls, and I have to change my number about 4 times already, but, I'm trying to be as much as possible involved and talk to people personally, and so they can hear me and my testimony, and what am I all about, and make their own decision, because it's, despite the fact that we can provide with all the paperwork possible, and I think human factor is very important, and to have a sense of who these people on the other end and who we deal with is very important as well. Some clients that I talked to, they said that, they sent cash, they received an email that had been covered online, and they sent cash to that place, and I was asked, so what was the name of the company, or what was their link to their website? And they said, well, we don't really did any research, and it doesn't matter, we just send cash, and things like that. So at least we really want to educate people what we do, how we do it. Is there risk involved? Absolutely. Like in any other investment, people have to understand that, and we're trying to be as much as transparent as possible, and to be more customer friendly as possible as well.
Now, are you also, I know, you do the collateral lending, which, am I correct in saying these are bridge loans to help people with short-term loans, correct?
So to speak, yes.
Yes. Okay. Are there other investments that you do that are also profitable besides bridge loans to kind of round off your portfolio of business?
Well, we just have, so to speak, a very, well, it's in the nature how to say it's very basic. It's pretty much to deal with the companies that need short-term loans, such as 5 businesses, 10, 15, for different purposes. One of those purposes could be just to show cash on their books before they're being audited, or future investment, things like that. So, in the fact they're not really spending our cash, they just have them on their books and waiting, and then we just charge them a fee.
Okay, so you're like renting your money for a few days, charge them a fee, and then they return it.
Pretty much, yes. With the factory, well, we'll also deal with the Chinese market. With the factories, it works a little bit different, because we work with this holding that controls a lot of manufacturing resources that are in China, and they invest heavily into building all this factory with state-of-the-art equipment. And what happened there is economy slowed down. They are not full-time employed, and whenever they get the contract, they need to buy expensive materials to fulfill those funds. And it's things like cell phones. They need to buy silver, gold, and that involves a lot of cash flow back and forth, things like that. We lend them for a short period of time. And why we need investors, why we need a bigger operational budget, because while we do those transactions and we're getting paid, some funds, getting stuck in the process where we're just waiting for them to arrive, things like that. So in a way, it is just like a traditional way of lending cash, but also it's kind of a hybrid of, as you said, renting cash out while looking like a financial institution. We're not really a bank, and we don't really do what the bank do because they're limited to how fast they can do that, and they're limited to underwriting and things like that. So we're trying to just provide this tremendous opportunity, tremendous help where we can just underwrite companies within 12 hours sometimes. Like receive there's phone calls from old clients that they need cash. Really quickly. We're trying to make it happen, and we take certain things into consideration. And in past 12 months, go ahead.
I know you had said to me that one of your goals is to make sure that the investor's money is protected for those that are participating that way. So how do you, for those people who are doing that, they're giving you money so that you can bridge out to other people, or renting money to you to bridge out to other people, I know you have insurance involved. Is all money insured, or just part of the money insured that's not backed by hard real estate or hard assets?
Yes, well, because we do not have full of it, as an investment, we don't have an investment accreditation. We are unfortunately cannot insure investments directly. But the loans that we give away, we do have this ability where the loans are going out, and if the company, you see that they do not have enough collateral, enough assets to match the loan that they're asking, then we make them pretty much purchase insurance. And insurance covers about 70 cents on the dollar over principal. So we try to do our best as much as possible. And we have certain safety nets around the program. One of those would be actually insurance. So in case of company defaults on our loan, we're capable of recovering up 70 cents on the dollar, 70%, plus whatever collateral that they have. But I must say that in the past 12 months, we had only 2 major defaults, and just 2 defaults in general, and none in the last 6 months.
How many customers do you carry?
Right now we're serving 521 applications. We're serving all the way from a few hundred loans per month to several thousand. So it's always varies because we're trying to work with the company on a really quick basis. So our books for about 10 plus thousand clients that we work with.
Are you in a situation where you're making more coming in from the investors, or you're finding that you don't have enough money coming in from those who are providing you with resources and you need more? In other words, you have more borrowers than you have resources coming in. So which is the demand right now?
Well, demand right now I think would be 1 to 5 ratio. That's what we discussed last month. We have about 5 applications that we feel like that we can service, but we can provide only 2 one of them. And we, so to speak, handpick it. We are relatively, we're high yield investment opportunity, so to speak, and we are relatively small to many other companies out there, and especially compared to elites who are just giants, managing just tremendous amount of cash flow. No, we're really trying to be huge as well. We're trying to find a middle ground. So I would be more comfortable to have it at a certain level, on a controlled level, rather than try to accommodate everyone. But we are serving 1 out of 5 that we possibly can cater to. And we're growing right now, and we've been very blessed. And personally, since I've never been involved in any MLMs, and I'm very new to the whole arena of that type of investment. The only self experience I had was pretty much mortgage business. So for us, we expected some growth, and we've been very blessed this year that we pretty much doubled in size, and we have high hopes for next year. So right now, I think it's 1 to 5, and since since yesterday's election, I don't think it's going to be changing to better anytime soon. So we expect
Sure.
the same amount of applications.
So I'm going to ask you a question I have here. It says, if the company is making loans to borrowers at 2.2 to 2.6, which is listed on the website, how are they able to pay out 2.15% compounded daily to our group members?
Yes. Well, the rates that we charge, 2.2 to 2.6, right now we go as high as 3.1 and have it's daily rates. This is all logged for the period of days. For instance, it's basic math. Pretty much, if it's 5 days and they use our cash, 5 days, we charge them about 10+%, 12, 13%. So we leave the difference to all investors. We're not trying to be greedy, so we do make certain profit, and our profit comes from making many transactions. Also, we do have our own operational budget that we working with, but in order for us to, so to speak, grow and work on a certain level, we are required to have a certain amount of investors. So as long as we make a little bit, we're very happy about it. I mean, we love what we do, and we're very happy when we can make other people profit from that as well. So some loans, and especially for new programs like Loan Hold, we have an amazing conditions, and we're just trying to pass on those profits to our investors.
Sure. Let's talk about long haul. You just designed this program. It was a surprise for everyone for November. Why did you decide to create a long haul program? What were your clients expecting? And it's pretty crazy of how big it can get. So are you willing to cap it off to protect everybody so that it's not out of control and what you can pay?
Yes. With the long haul, there's a few more. There's some new information is coming, and it should be published on the website anytime soon. We were just a little bit, we were facing a few problems with the new update and features that we're implementing, so it's not up yet. But let me give you in detail what the long haul is and what it's all about. Long haul is, it came a little bit earlier than we expected because we were working on that bill for quite some time, and we were trying to make it happen in January, New Year program, so to speak. But the wholesaler that we negotiated our conditions with really wanted it to happen this year, and they needed fast cash really quick. We negotiated really good terms with them. 240 days term came from quite a few lines that we previously dealt with, that they asked us if we can have a 240-day investment programs. That would give you a tremendous tax breaks, because any investments that being overseas for over a year condition onto 700 breaks when you do that. So I would recommend to contact your CPAs, and this is something that many might take advantage of. That is 240 days. It's not just a number; it's the minimum of days that the investment has to be overseas in order to get those target rates. On top of that, we intended this. We do have already clients who are about to have their accounts mature, so we're expecting also a lot of withdrawals, and expecting more for Christmas time and Thanksgiving, things like that. So with our new wholesaler, we need to secure a large amount. Pretty much, they will be doing most of the servicing, so they just need access to our cash, and we need to process it really quickly for that. So in order for us to have the certain conditions and to ease how the whole transaction and the whole model we're going to work with them, we're willing to pay as much as 2.7. But a 2.7 rate is available until the bonus week, gift week, so to speak. It's as you know, local on the Easter week, 50% of everything that's being compounded has to be withdrawn. So, which means that by that period of time, whatever you compound, you would have to take 50% out of it. And after Easter week, the rate drops to 2.35.
Okay.
Yeah. In addition, on top of that, you're absolutely right. The program, how this program works, and it's to interest large investors, of course, it makes, even with a small amount, it makes sense to do it. But we're going to separate into different batches and put in different industries. Certain ways and certain accounts, we still reserve the right to cap, to stop compounding. So there would be certain accounts, depends on the accounts. We reserve the right to just, pretty much stop the compounding at any moment. On top of that, this program, we will invite investors only until 1st of March. After that, we will not be introducing this program to any new investors, no previous investors. So you can invest funds only until 1st of March under any conditions. And we might stop doing that even prior to that if we get enough what we need. So this is a very profitable opportunity, absolutely. And we can do it probably this one time because we just have this condition. We were working for about 6 months and we have to make it happen. It's involved lots of paperwork and we actually had a breakthrough and we had to act on it because 3 months, 2 months in this scenario it's life changing, and we just have to act on it. And that's why it came pretty much from nowhere. It became news and we're trying to make it work. So yes, absolutely, it's a tremendous earning investment opportunity. We will cap it, of course. We reserve the right to stop it, stop compounding any account to be the whole program itself or individual, just to make sure that we can deliver everything that we promise. But it doesn't mean that it will happen or when it happens, when it can happen. It's just a precautionary measure that we want to happen. And even though you will be receiving a great lump sum, but after Easter week, when you take 50% off, you will still get a great return. But we want to give you peace of mind that you will can get your principal back at the time, most likely, and that the number is not going to be astronomical by the end of the program. Either way, I don't think we'll have
great. Well, we noticed the math on it was pretty wild, and we were just worried, that it would be sustainable by, your clients who are borrowers. That would be willing to borrow at that high of an interest rate. Is this standard that these people are willing to pay crazy money to get the short-term money, or?
Yes, there is a little bit higher risk involved with that opportunity. Well, we've worked with them, and for 6 months. We did already a few programs with them, and we've just seen how everything works. They are, because it's untraditional, so to speak, market. It's mainly involved in Chinese holdings and resources. They are willing to pay high rates, and that's why we have kind of agreement for 2 years only due to reason that they need to get their, to get return on their investments and just to get things going pretty much for them. And that definitely going to change. It's not going to happen. But they are willing to pay high premium for the service that we provide.
Okay. Now, one of the questions was about the fact that we actually don't have to. You don't make us sign an application form, or we don't have to sign a terms, agreement or anything like that, and we actually don't put our name anywhere on the website. How is that because of your status? Like you talked about earlier, how you guys came in at $5 million, and your category that you're in, it changes how your relationship is with us in America and other parts of the world.
Yes, absolutely. Well, when you sign up to the program, there's terms and services that you agree to. That is pretty much the only legally binding contract that you and us will need to enter. So this is why it's been so much bad happening around this program because of our status. Well, we're not required to obtain any so to speak. To create an investment agreement, things like that, because most of the agreements are regulated by certain agencies. And since we don't have none, we'd rather not have the information that we don't need, if you know what I mean, because unless any of our clients are involved in any legal activities, such as Terrorist Act and all those things, we do honor them. So if there are any requests coming our way that the U.S. government is concerned of that type of activity, we will disclose the information. We reserve the right to do so. But under any other conditions, because we do not report any of your earnings to any of the agencies in the U.S., so that is IRS, nor to any other agencies in the world, we are not required to have that information, and because I know the legally being hacked, private information being stolen, things like that. So we'd rather not have information about you that we don't really require to. That helps us to stay off the radar, so to speak. It helps us to be avoided by hackers and all these organizations that just looking for that. And because you have to understand that being involved in such investment, there's always sort of groups are looking for people who are involved and trying to find out, how much money you made, what some this person offered, things like that. So we're just trying to take confidentiality and privacy to the level, to the most, to the highest level possible. Yeah.
Is there a maximum dollar amount? If we've got different people coming in that have been very successful. Is there a dollar amount where you will just say, no, that's too much money? I mean, to come in and participate.
Well, in reality, profitable sunrise, we never meant to be investing for any high investments, but the only people that we dealt with previously. But we do have high investors. We have individuals. I mean, as a personal investment, we have individuals, 7.5 million as a single investment. I think would be the highest we get from one person that's generally from Dubai. Made that transfer, but we do have corporations and certain organizations that come on board way over $1 million, and it happens pretty often. So there's no real cap, but unless somebody wants to come with a very significant amount, when we're talking about $50 to $100 million, then definitely we would have to discuss certain conditions.
And then you have Interreef Limited, which is your collateral lending company. That company does do loans. My question I have here is, are we able to refer others to Interreef to obtain loans? And if so, is there a referral fee for this?
Yes. Well, that's kind of a legal issue that we faced at the beginning. We did introduce an affiliate program, but then what happened is that if you are involved into investment part of our business, we are not legally so to speak, allowed to pay you commissions from any referral that you bring to us.
Okay.
No, you can be on board with any of the companies that we're lending to or related to whatever company is your investment with us. It is kind of a legal matter that my brother is looking into. So that is something that, because we really want to implement it. We have great people and have great relationships and a lot of businessmen involved with us. We're trying to make it happen, but it's just such a gray area that there is the clear answer that we received that we just rather shouldn't do that because it might just expose to certain areas.
Cause trouble.
Create trouble, in the future. So they told us that financially we'd be better off not to explore that. So this is something that we didn't, we're still looking into it on our agenda. So we're trying to figure out what our limits are and how to make it properly. Just, one mistake and things can go sour really quick.
So how is it okay then, if we were, like for example, I know you have a referral bonus that we get 5%, 2% and 1% in the private group. How is it okay for us to refer and get paid a bonus on that if it's not okay to get referred on a loan?
Oh, because you see, a loan and investment have to be separated. It is separated into legally with two entities. The problem is with when we're giving away a loan, for instance, the easiest scenario, for instance, you know the company and you're my investor. We have already sort of a relationship. You know how much you'll be lending to that business. You create a record that you can go out there and tell other people, look, I know that this company is getting this much money, let's invest this, that's how much you're getting. This way, legally, you're creating, so to speak, a record, how to explain it? Well, there is this problem where you can influence other investors to participate based on sort of insider information. Not really insider trading thing, but it's some sort of a that way thing, which means that you create already something tangible that you can hold on to. And based on that, whatever you promise that we will have to honor, things like that. So that creates like a legal net. And then, whatever happens, I mean, people have to understand that this is an investment. This is not, college fund. This is not something you can secure and use. This is, we have to calculate the risk like any other business. So, in order for us to get you involved on both sides, we complicate things. How, to what extent you can attract new clients and how much you can influence their decision to invest in our company. We understand that things might happen. That's why we have a reserve account, that we hold a significant amount of cash in case something happens. We can at least pay out and things like that. So, despite the fact that we're doing great and very fortunate, there's still risk, and we just don't want to create any ground for any agencies to step in and just put things on hold for us, investigate. And if we'll be on hold for a month, we might be able to, then we'll have to start over everything again.
So right now, how many owners are there of the program? And, I know you and your brother. Are there other companies that co-own, like they have shares or stock in your company?
Well, we are working with a few individuals and companies, so to speak, to be our partners, but they're silent partners. And so most of the decision-making down coming from, I'm pretty much in charge of everything, and I structured it that way because you have the same dealing on a large scale. You need to be in control of what's happening, and
right.
I'm very fortunate to have my brother on board with me because I can trust this guy and I deal with everything, my wife and family, my children. So we even though we do have partners, those partners are silent. In case anything happens to me personally, my brother is trained to pretty much do everything that I do. If something happens to other family, we do have also, I have personal assistants who are in charge, and they are under certain legal rights. We have a contract where they will have access to the funds, will have access to the digital keys for certain accounts, things like that. So we do have a security measures in place in case anything happens with any of us. There's other people who will step up and take our place, and at least we'll make things right for everyone.
Sure. Now, what I want to ask you too about is taxes.
Yes.
We have folks that have said, okay, Roman does a new 1099, then I'm like, well, we don't work for Roman. We're not his independent contractors or his employees. And the way it's sounding, the category that you guys are under is a different kind of category that would not require that. Is that correct?
Well, yeah, there's no any regulations for us to issue 1099, and we actually don't do it on purpose because we do have quite a few clients who don't really want that.
Right.
First, you can have your own offshore account, and we do have individuals from the United States who operate on that level. They pretty much, they have legal entities registered offshore. It could be Panama, New Zealand, and in Australia, New Zealand, in that regard. You can set it up you have attorneys in the U.S. who can guide you through that process, and for relatively small fees, you can set it up with no problem. And you can operate out of that, then you get certain tax breaks, and you can purchase things, houses, places, or businesses by using your funds or access your funds through your offshore accounts. If you choose to receive your funds on U.S. soil on your personal checking bank account, you can do that as well, but then you'll be subject to certain taxation, and each state has slightly different rules from that regard. I would recommend to talk to your CPA or talk to a accounting company. It might be more so much, but they will explain it would be the best way to do that. That's why 240 days came into power, because with my previous investors, that's what they asked me to get that. Give you tremendous tax breaks. I don't, on top of my head, I don't know all the details, so I wouldn't be the guy to give you what would be the right way to do it or not, but it's really up to you how you choose to report your earnings, and you have to talk to your CPA.
Okay. Now, and I've been kind of reading and studying about hard money lenders and this whole kind of world that's happening, and would you agree that it's really private? Because I'm getting the impression that the customers do not want anyone to know their business. Is that true?
Yeah, absolutely, and that's I think one of the key features that really attracts people to what we offer as a service. Well, there's several reasons for that purposes. It can be business reasons. You don't want your competition to know certain things. You don't want certain people to know certain things about your business, especially when decision making. When I want, I cannot really judge people on whether they, how they do their business, but I know that some companies will try to withdraw this information confidential. So if they're being bought by somebody else or being audited, things like that, they need this level of confidentiality. Sometimes I know people get into that situation, and that's the only way for them to get out. for whatever reason. And I know it helps a lot of people get back on the feet, it helps a lot of people do that. Most of the lending, this is something private. People, as far as I know, they don't like to be in that. That sometimes it can be just personal. You don't want your wife to know, or you don't want your children to know about that. You go to talking to we in 90s, we kind of got used to buying everything on credit. And now when we need to pay the credit back, it's going quite unfortunate, especially what happens with the real estate, it's affected many families. Having everything and then going through hard times, it's very emotional for me. So lending has been always kind of a private area. And when we do on the business level, there's several factors, business factors and personal factors. It can be very hard for people to do. We're trying to be a company. As I said, sometimes we're not making any money, but we're very willing to become to get back to our feet and to do whatever we do.
Okay. So am I correct, if I look back in your history, then about 10 years ago is when you started in finance, and about 6 years ago you got into the collateral lending part of it, is that correct?
Yes, about it. I think, about 4 years when everything that, so to speak, we get to enjoy right now, I would say I would put about 4 years of my life into it from the full-time.
Full-time in the collateral lending. And then was it about, I think you shared with me that in 2009 is when you came up with the name Profitable Sunrise as a nice DBA umbrella to make a nice name for the project. But yet later on I saw the name Interreef not appear, because I have a copy that you were kind enough to send to me of the legal licensing and the corporation and all that. And that actually was applied for in 2011. So what were you called before Interreef? What was your business name?
Well, we so to speak had different. Before that, we didn't have a particular structure to our business, so we have to change from name to name in order for us to get the right classification as financial institution. So we work with different companies under different divisions, different entities as well. Interreef is what we chose as our legal entity because it gave all this, we get all the accreditation to that name. We do also use certain entities and use with when we work with different banks.
Yes, we saw that. You have some different names, different company names. Sure.
Yes, and it's more mainly been done because when we would, you have to understand that we do use a big deal of know-how into how we do it, but it's not really that we're trying to complicate things, but more like we're trying to move within the boundaries of what the system allows us to. And for instance, when we send cash and we lend the cash via territory, we file it as an international investment. That helps to clear those funds really quickly. We have taxation and some parameters. It eases things up. So most of the why you see all these changes that we have and names here and there, it's just mainly to speed things up and make things work much easier. You might also mention that we work with different banks, absolutely, and one of the reasons is that we just don't trust one bank with all our money. It became just a business decision because when we operate on the international arena, we utilize a few different banks. Because we have certain conditions with them, and we just don't want to keep all the eggs in one basket.
That's exactly what I expected you to say. Now, is your brother a former U.S. attorney, or are you guys citizens of the U.K. now?
Yes, we are located in the U.K. right now. My younger brother, he was in charge of business law. I know he worked with American companies out of Czech. He worked in Czech Republic with U.S. companies also. He did countries with Poland acquisitions on the Polish stock market and things like that. So he operated from Europe for most of it.
So are you Czechoslovakian citizens? Like, where's your home citizenship?
No, we are U.S. citizens. You hear my accent? My father, he immigrated to U.S. because of the British Europe. He was a Brit in Czechoslovakia, and I know he moved here for us. He wanted the freedom of religion, and I know that it was a great call on him. I could see how much he had to sacrifice to do that. So everybody at home spoke Czech. So,
wow.
even when I was raised in Los Angeles, and I could see every time he talked about homeland, he would have tears in his eyes. So we try to, be as much possible, honoring all these traditions and, things like that. And that's why in '90s, before he passed away, we moved back there, and, I helped him to work. He was very active in the community, and so even though we might sound European, we are U.S. Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay. Well, I guess my last closing remarks for this is that, we have tried to protect you in the U.S. I mean, we are not security people, but we want to participate in the program. And our charity, Focus Up Ministries, we're just thrilled to be a part of this. And we have had huge support pouring into the NJF Global Group, which I'm getting all the charitable things that I need to do set up for everyone to participate in that side. But we want to protect you, and I guess our biggest thing that our team has kind of been trained to do is to look out for anybody who is taking Profitable Sunrise and making it look like some of the hype programs that we see out there on the internet that have no substance. And I don't think you want to look like that, right?
Absolutely, they do. Yes.
So if you see that anybody in the group, whether in our group or one of the other private groups that you have are doing that, are you willing to take action and tell them, guys, if you don't shut that website off on the internet, you'll lose your account? Or how do you handle that to make sure people are not doing things that could hurt your company?
Yes, absolutely. Well, you see, since we are limited, since we do have an offshore and we don't have a certain accreditation, there's some advertisements that we cannot run for U.S. citizens specifically, as well as for many other countries that have certain regulations. But our clients and group leaders are allowed to do so because, they can structure it as MLM or they can structure it to any other model that they choose to. Unfortunately, some people just misuse this information and, put out something out there that does not really always even comply with our terms of service. And people say things that do not really what we're trying to send a message across when we talk to clients. So if you see anything that you feel like not shouldn't be there, I would really appreciate if you can forward me this information. We'll definitely take an action. We do have a few people who is browsing internet trying to find if anything, if they go out of boundaries and there's something that we feel wrong, we will of course ask kindly and we will take measures. And I would appreciate if you have any information in that regard. I would really appreciate it.
Well, that's wonderful. So far, what we have found to be successful for us in the U.S., so that we do not try to come off as if we are security people, is basically that we are doing fundraisers for our charity, because Profitable Sunrise, the platform, with Inner Reef Limited, offers a wonderful fundraiser. It also is a fundraiser for people's personal charities that they may be working in, and also for their personal family needs to get out of debt or college or things like that. So these have been great platforms. So we've come from that standpoint. We've tried to avoid the word investment as much as we can, and I don't know if you would be willing to consider if we could use some different terminology, since you've got so many people coming from America, to help protect us from having people go out and say the wrong things and getting in trouble just because they don't know any better. Would you be willing, maybe for me to help you or work with language that would be alternative, that would not cause people to get the impression that we're selling security?
That is, we can discuss that over the email with the details, and you can, if you can want to send me some links, I would definitely look into it. There is also certain ground, certain areas that have to be displayed as an investment, to the point where I cannot, you can choose to put it, and you're absolutely right. We can
change our terminology, but you can't legally change yours. Is that what you're saying, because of what you do and who you are?
Yes, you do have a freedom to present the program to whatever you have. You do have that right.
Okay.
And because in the nature, that's the whole trick about the law. In the nature of how you feel about the program, you can present that unless you're misleading purposely, but you're not. So even with these boundaries, while you present the program how you see it for whatever purpose you're using the app, you're offering the same conditions within the terms of service from our program, you are allowed to do so. We have no problems with that. But legally, we cannot, well, yeah, and we can discuss it also over the email. And,
Sure.
We'll know we can take.
Okay. Well, Roman, you have been a pleasure to work with thus far, and I've tried to share with people how, whenever I talk with you, I just have such a good feeling in my heart talking with you. And I appreciate so much all this time that you have blessed us with to explain all these questions. Because honestly, when I saw the list of questions, I thought to myself, there is no way that he's going to answer all these questions. But you really have covered almost the entire list, and some of them they're not as big a question as others that I can handle. So I just really appreciate you doing this for us. This is just wonderful. I just thank you so much. And people here are just, I get fan mail from people that just say, thank you, Nanci, for this program. And I just want to thank you, Roman, for this program. And what you've created for all of us. It's really been wonderful for so many people, and for our charity too, for Focus Up Ministries. I'm just so looking forward to launching everything, and I'm getting ready to do that. I've got just about everything in place to launch all our platforms that we're going to be doing with the blessings coming from this. So I just want to thank you so much, and let you know that I also, within our group of 4,000 people, have an extraordinary group of leadership that will protect you. They are on this call to learn how to keep this wonderful program going and understand the culture behind it. And and if I'm understanding correctly, you want us to treat this like something that is special, not something that's just blasted out all over the place, random, but that it is a very special project. Am I correct?
Absolutely. From the beginning, I appreciate all your kind words, and I'm really happy to be here for you. I will pass it on to our team. I have to give them that 80% of all success that we have is because of the people behind me and all the support that I receive, and also nurses like you and like your team, because it's all together we strongly believe that we can make it happen. That it could be definitely an opportunity, maybe not for long term, but it will give some people a break. It will help some people get their team, that was the primary goal of the investment. We've been very successful. We've been very, very fortunate to be a part of it, and we're very happy to share those lessons with others and pass it on. And and I think that was the reason being that we are capable of sustaining this program. We are capable of finding new opportunities, and we see that Heavenly Father blesses us, and it definitely help from above guide us in the right direction and protect us from misfortunes and things that happen. And we're really glad to have people like you with us as well. That all makes a difference. And you're absolutely right. We're not trying to be cheap. We're not trying to be big. We're trying to work with the people who see the potential that we can really benefit from that, and we'll be very happy to those people on a personal basis and start from the beginning, make something that is tangible.
When you say things, when you say, like, for example, 2 to 5 years, what you mean by that, if I'm understanding correctly, is that the current platforms that we're on, sustaining these platforms until they finally max out where that's all that you can handle. That doesn't mean that you're going to end the platform, but it just means you can't take any new business in. Is that correct, beyond what your cap is?
Yes, pretty much. Yes, unfortunately, we're limited, of course, to to how far we can go and how big we can go. And there's reasons for it. Most likely in 2 years, we're either going to just work with investors that we already got on board. We would have to adjust, of course, to the economy, and so there will probably be different programs. We try to change our status, get more presence. So we will work with you guys, and we'll still look for those.
I think that's what we're asking. I mean, for all of us, it's not that what we're looking for is sustainability. If you close the community, which many private investment groups do close their community at some point, where they've got their portfolio of investors, they have their portfolio of business, and they're very comfortable there. And we just want to be a part of that. We would love to not have this be a 2 to 5 year, but maybe 10 years later, we're doing other projects with you. We're still together as a family, and that's what we are looking for.
That's precisely, as I said, why we want to get just the right people to work with. There's always opportunities, there is always ways, to make money, and there's always ways to make difference. So we just want to get to know right people and to have them with us, and we definitely we believe that everybody has to be involved. You just cannot do much by yourself. You need to have the right people with you to do that and accomplish it. And we have I have some groups that I've worked with for quite some time already, and I've been very fortunate to get to know those people. I'm very glad to get to meet you and your people as well. So I truly believe that we can have a long-term relationship.
Well, I am looking forward to it. I have one last question. How many groups do we now have? I thought we had 20 the last time we spoke, but there may be a few more. How many groups total do you have?
Slightly more. We have about 32 groups.
32 groups.
Yes, but those groups are not as big.
Are we the biggest group yet?
Almost. But you, I think, number 3, number 2, most likely.
Okay, what do we have to do to be number 1?
Well, I think you're on the way. I think you're doing everything right. So
okay, all right. Well, you have to tell us when we're number 1, okay?
Absolutely.
And we'll have to have a party call.
Absolutely.
So we can celebrate.
Absolutely.
So, and what is the oldest group that you have now? How old is it? The first person who came in and started the 170-day run, how many cycles has an individual had with you so far?
Well, we have few groups that we work that we kind of inherited with working with investment banks. Those groups, I think they're on the 4th term, third, fourth term. Those are mainly, they're not they're just individuals with a high investments. We do have a group of John Matthews.
They're private investors. Okay.
Yeah, and we have John Matthews. I don't know if you heard about his group. He's been very successful. He was very skeptical in the beginning, and we actually had a very mean conversation with him for some time. But then he gets to meet my younger brother in December, and he already had the term with us, and he's doing second term with most of his investors, and he's getting new on board. So
great.
Yeah.
Great.
So there's few people.
Thank you.
Really happy.
You are just awesome, and it's so good to hear your voice again. We haven't talked for a few weeks and stuff, but we do talk back and forth on the emails every day, so that's good. And I do appreciate the fact that you're so good. Like when I email you, you contact me right back. I'm amazed sometimes, to be honest, of how great you have been. So I just thank you for that, and I'm just looking forward to the day when you and I get to be face to face and have some tea in London or something.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to it. That's what's going to happen. We just a little bit overwhelmed with everything that we do, but we got to do what we got to do, and I think it's going to be great. And,
wonderful. Well, thank you.
Looking forward to it.
Thank you so much, Roman. And everybody on the call, I just thank you so much for listening in and taking time out of your schedule on a beautiful fall day to hear all of this. But as you can see, this has been a very worthwhile time period here for us to hear and have the answers directly from somebody who's been there from the beginning. So I look forward, if you have other questions that we did not have on our sheet, I look forward to helping you with that and answering those questions best I can. And if for some reason I need a little more information, I'll email Roman, and he's always great to answer them for me. We'll get that to you. So thank you so much, everyone, and thank you so much, Roman. And
thank you for having me.
You're welcome. All right, we'll talk to you later, everybody.